Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Elite Self Show. I am super excited to be bringing you guys some more fire on this podcast through this platform. And a lot of people have been requesting more episodes of this as I tend to go a little bit deeper into some of the more important concepts on here. And I'm going to continue right where I left off with the last episode. In the last episode, I talked about 3 simple steps to start progressing towards the elite version of yourself and ultimately the elite version of your life. And if you're listening to this show, chances are you know that there's that next level out there for you. You have a big, grand concept of what you can become and what you can achieve. And that is awesome. You and I are cut from the same cloth. And what I want to do is help you in the pursuit of that. And again, last time I talked about creating your North Star, defining what that actually looks like for you if you haven't already, and some key mentalities and strategies around doing so. What I'm going to talk about today is once you have that defined, once you've defined your action steps, at least your initial action steps, 2 key mentalities, and then kind of a bonus one as well, of how to make that process sustainable. Because it's one thing to set your goals and define what life you want and get all motivated, but it's another thing to be executing it 17 weeks from now when you really don't feel like it. And that's where we're gonna start off today, because I've been an official entrepreneur for 2 years now. I've been dabbling for 4 years now. I tried a few different businesses my first 2 years after dropping out of college. And I can say that there are a handful of concepts that I've experienced that have been more important than others. And these are a few of them today. So we're gonna start off with 2. So the first one is standard over state. And the second one is standard over schedule. I'm gonna start with standard over state. And first off, I wanna let you guys know what a standard is in this context. So a standard is essentially the daily, weekly, monthly, or just one-off action that you've determined is necessary in order to achieve your goals. You've defined what your North Star is, and as a result of that, you can reverse engineer it down to what would you like to achieve this year, in the next 6 months, 3 months, this month, in this week, today. You can reverse engineer what level of progression do you want to achieve at each time frame, right? And so those are your standards. What standard over state is executing the standards no matter what state you're in. Let's say you've defined a handful of weekly tasks that you need to complete. This concept, standard over state, means that you execute these standards no matter how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Maybe you feel a little bit anxious or stressed or overwhelmed, or maybe your cat just died, or maybe your girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with you. You're executing these standards even given whatever circumstances life throws at you. And this is imperative. And those are some more extreme examples, but oftentimes what prevents people from executing their standards is simply not feeling like it without anything external happening. And it's easy to not feel like it. You want to watch Netflix instead. You want to go with your friends instead. You want to do this. You want to go golfing. You want to just chill out. It's super, super, super easy, especially when no one else is holding you accountable. In entrepreneurship, you are in this game alone. And therefore, this concept is essentially your self-accountability, because standard over state, it's like a mental tool. It's like, picture it like a toolbox where you pull it out when you need it. And that is what I have found super beneficial. Every time I don't feel like doing something, I say standard over state. I say it out loud, or I say it internally, and boom, it prompts me to execute despite the fact that I don't feel like it. And you can ask anybody who's achieved anything that execution, despite the fact that they don't feel like it, is imperative, because you're not going to feel like it pretty often. So that is a huge concept that I want you guys to internalize. But again, the prerequisite for that actually being effective is defining your North Star and defining your standards. And watch my last episode if you want a little bit more clarification on that. But the close cousin to standard over state is standard over schedule. Similar thing, you've defined your standards, and now you are going to execute them no matter what happens with your schedule. Maybe you have to work late. Maybe your friends threw you a surprise party. Maybe you sleep in. Maybe the car breaks down and you have to spend some time fixing it. Whatever happens with your schedule, you are still executing the standards on that day or that week. Maybe you have to stay up a little bit later. Maybe you have to, do it on a few hours on the weekend when you usually wouldn't have. You have to move some stuff around. But no matter what happens with your schedule, no matter how jumbled up it gets, you execute these standards. And as you can see, the underlying theme with these 2 concepts is that you're executing no matter what happens. And by the way, this doesn't speak to the intensity or the duration or the magnitude of the standards. The standards can be super simple, guys. It could even be like an hour total of accumulated activities each day. which isn't that much, or even a few hours each week. Like, you are defining your standards. It's not like we're automatically talking about 5 hours of daily work here, guys. The standards can be short and simple. You know what you need to do to achieve your goal, so you're going to define the standards. All we're saying is that they will get done, and you'll feel 100 times better after you execute, despite the fact that you didn't feel like it. And this will separate you from the herd, because most people don't accomplish anything because they fall off at the first sign of laziness. They procrastinate, they push it off to Monday never comes, and then it just never happens, and it spirals into a bunch of laziness and ultimately not progressing towards their highest potential, which is what we're here to do. So those two concepts will help you do it. And that is where my third concept comes in, which is a simple statement. Also, sometimes it's the most simple stuff that can provide you the most benefit. The statement is, I cannot change the past, I can change the future. You know it, I know it, but it's sometimes hard to really feel that way in the present. Maybe you regret a mistake. Maybe, XYZ happens and you're thinking about it. A lot of us spend a lot of time and energy in the past when it is not high leverage. It's very low leverage, to say the least. And this can prevent us from taking current action. And all these concepts are intertwined. Maybe something in the past is reducing the quality of your current state, and due to that low state, you're not executing in the present moment. But what this concept, and this is another one, by the way, that I've said out loud multiple times: I cannot change the past, I can change the future. I cannot change the past, I can change the future. And despite the fact that this is super basic, it can literally change the chemical reactions that are going on inside your body, and again, prompt you to take action in the present moment. I cannot change the past, I can change the future. This will reorient your mindset in the present moment to stop focusing on the past and to start focusing what is within your control right now, and some action steps that can progress you towards the real goal, which is your future, which is the potential you want to reach. Because no matter how bad the past is, maybe you've been on a downward spiral for 3 months, maybe shit just happened over the last hour that really got to you. Whatever trajectory that put you on, however low that took you emotionally or otherwise, the only place to go is up, right? Whether you're on top of the world or at rock bottom, the only place to go is up. And this concept, I cannot change the past, I can change the future, will empower you to do so. And like I said, there are tons of mindset concepts that are imperative for success, but these are 3 that I found necessary for even maintaining the business, let alone growing it. This stuff is imperative, and it's stuff that I see people not executing over and over and over again. So I would highly recommend taking these to heart and executing them, no matter what your process is right now. Maybe you're a student, maybe you have a business, maybe you're a Twitch streamer, whatever endeavor, whatever your vehicle is for financial freedom and fulfilling your potential, whatever that means to you. I want you to think about applying these concepts to it. And again, I want you to write them down and add them to your mental toolbox. Say them over and over until you memorize them and have them there at your disposal. Standard over state, standard over schedule, and the third one is, I cannot change the past, I can change the future. And ask yourself it right now, listening, whether you're in a car or at your desk or in bed. I cannot change the past, I can change the future. What does that mean to you? What are you going to do about it? So I hope this provided you some value or some inspiration or some mindset, motivation, whatever it may be for you. I hope it added to your journey and at least helped you a little bit. This isn't necessarily something that can help you, that's like one burst of help and then nothing. This is a tool that you can use over and over and over again if you really take this seriously. So I'm excited to hear how it goes for you. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.